I will also give my presentation in English. My name is Michele Carboni. I'm an assistant professor at the Polytechnic di Milano, as my colleague did the previous presentation. The topic or the title of my presentation is an analysis of premature failures of some sonotrods made in aluminum alloys for ultrasonic welding of plastic materials. Some words on ultrasonic welding, because it's quite widespread and used methodology, technology for welding plastic materials, but also some metals. Also because I was very amazed when I was to our customer side, because there were walls full of samples of things welded by ultrasonic materials, and I had absolutely no idea that there are so many plastic objects welded with this technology. Here you have some examples, some typical examples, but they can be quite a huge amount of objects with this technology. The way of welding this kind of object is made by an equipment that has three fundamental parts: a piezoelectric transducer that produces the vibration, then a booster that amplifies the vibration, and the sonotrode that is the real tool that goes onto the parts to be welded. And the vibration in the sonotrode is the amplified one coming from the booster. For plastic objects, this vibration is vertical, so in this way, the final, you will see that because it will be useful, usually the amplitude of the vibration is 100 microns at the maximum. The weld is obtained by frictional head together with frictional head and given to the material for a very short period of time. My speech will be focused only on the sonotrode, so the real tool for the weld. There are a lot of geometries because we need a different geometry of sonotrode, as you see here from this example picture. But you need a different geometry of sonotrode for every weld or object you want to weld. And this is quite a brand new field. I mean, at least from the structural point of view, because in the literature there are very few papers on sonotrodes, and all the papers are focused only on the dynamical behavior of the sonotrode, but no one on the structural strength. As I saw, the largest amplitude of the system, of the work system, is between 50 and 100 microns. The typical work frequency is 20 kilohertz. Usually, the expected life, and I mean expected life because I know from the producer, from our customer, that is a producer of sonotrodes, that they work for 10 years. So imagine 200 working days in a year and 8 hours a day. We had in 10 years sonotrodes working for 10 to the 12 cycles. So very huge amount of fatigue cycles seen by this kind of tools. And this is the normal situation, let's say, the typical situation. But in the last period, our customer, as I said, is a producer of the equipment, not only sonotrodes, but also all the machines, the piezo bar, the booster, and so on. And numerous unexpected failures. I mean that some numerous sonotrodes came back from his customers using his sonotrodes, but only instead of 10 years after 2 weeks of work. 2 weeks of work is only, I say only, something like 5 billion cycles. So is still quite a huge amount of cycles. Such failures were discovered due to a change in dynamic behavior of the welders, of the equipment to weld. And usually we know that when the dynamic behavior changes, when changes the compliance changes when cracks are introduced in the system. So perhaps we will see that it was a problem of the presence of unexpected cracks in the sonotone. But at the beginning there was no clear reason why this sonotone failed, because the material is the ergal, which is a commercial name for the 7075 aluminum alloy. And the ergal is used for the 90% of the sonotones all around the world. So it's very well known the behavior of this aluminum alloy in producing this type of tools. The geometry of the return given back sonotones were typical geometries, so nothing new from this point of view. And also the service was absolutely nothing special in respect to typical service or typical working conditions. Between all the sonotones that were returned, we choose two of them with a geometry quite different. One square sonotone, one circular. And the outline of the work was, first of all, to look for cracks by means of non-destructive testing, then qualitative and quantitative fractional phase analysis and scanning electron microscope, and finally also try to understand the influence of defects or these cracks on the fatigue strengths for this kind of tools components. From the point of view of non-destructive testing, we applied very simple liquid penetrants on the outside and on the inside of the sonotones, and we found, it's not clear, but here we have the response of the liquid penetrants. Here we have the red penetrant. In the case, was important that a huge amount of cracks were found in every sonotone, and these cracks were found at stress concentrations here, where we had some geometry discontinuity and the radius between the roof, let's say, and the walls of these sonotones. But we didn't think that this stress concentration could be the reason for the failures, because as I said, these were quite typical geometries for the sonotones, usually presenting no problems during 10 years of service. And the crack found together with vein numerals were also relevant in dimensions. The order of magnitude was centimeters inside the components. Here I have reported the usual metallurgical chemical composition of the ergal, the 7075 aluminum alloy, as reported from the STM normative. Here there is a schematic of all the crack we found. It's very strange and interesting. I think that there is a perfect symmetry in the development of these cracks. So perhaps there was an influence of the mode vibrations of this object during service that developed particularly cracks in suitable or proper position, location in the web. Unfortunately, after the analysis, also for the circular sonotone, we saw that for this case, so the circular sonotone, fractional phases were ruined and no relevant results could be obtained from that one. So we focused only on the prismatic one in this case. Another interesting thing that is not possible to show in this schematic is that the cracks were on both ends, so upper and lower in the sonotone. So the schematics is working, and it's okay for both the upper and the lower stress concentrations. Here I'd like to show you just two examples. We analyzed at the STM, we analyzed all the fluctual surfaces for all the positions in the prismatic sonotone, and we could observe that typically the defects at the initiation size were only of two different kinds. The first kind is this one. It's quite complicated. Here the initiation size was in this position, and on the left side we have a brittle fracture, the typical facets seen in very high cycle fatigue with a brittle fracture. And on the other side, instead, we had some ductile propagation, and then the final failure. We made an analysis of the initiation zone, as you see. Here, it seems that it seemed quite strange. We made a picture using the QBSD, so the quarterly backscatter, different diffusion way of the electrons in order to see different colors for different materials. We saw this strange region, this strange region here. But I would like you to remember for this other region, because we will need it in a short while, on the left of this particular region. Here we have something that I think we could name ODA exactly as Murakami makes for steels. So here we are in aluminum, but I made a research in a little bit. Someone talks about also ODA for aluminum. So I'm quite confident that this is really an ODA region. But what is really important is that the nucleation for this kind obviously is the interior, as we expect for very high cycle fatigue. And at the nucleation point, as we will see in this other side, is very different from the expected one for 70-75 alloy. Particularly, we see that spectrum 1 is this part that I told you to remember, because in this part we have a huge amount of copper. Really a huge amount, is 40% here, around here. While here, sometimes this white particle is an iron particle, because we have a quite high percentage in respect to what is expected from the ASTM specification for this alloy. And finally, here in what I think is an ODA, we have a lot of oxygen, but this is the oxidation due to previous hydrogen enrichment, or present only hydrogen in this region. Another very particular things for all the spectrum is never I see zinc. And zinc is the second most important element for this kind of aluminum alloy. So, but it's absolutely absent. It's absolutely absent. I saw different defects of this kind in the fracture surfaces that I analyzed, but I also saw a different case, and this is the second type of defects I saw on the fracture surfaces, and this is a subsurface defect. Subsurface defect, you can see here always with the QBSD diffusion method. That, and you see from here again, it's some particular concentration of copper just below surface, not in the interior this time, but just below surface. This is really peculiar again, because this huge amount of copper should not be present here. And also in this case, no zinc would be observed in the alloy.
Dall'altra parte l'hai trovato?
Dall'altra parte l'ho trovato.
Lo zinc.
Lo zinc.
Ah, stesso che no.
L'ho trovato. Or at least, Professor Ferraro asked me if I found the zinc far from this region or far from the fracture surfaces, and I answered that yes, I found it, not in the expected percentage, but less than the expected one. And for our customer, we finish here the analysis because then we understood that perhaps they sold them something that was not really there. There was some error in the preparation of this alloy. But we wanted to go on, and we are still at preliminary results. We carried out some finite element analysis of the sonotone. I say preliminary because we use some simplified geometry. We have not all the features and the geometrical features of the original sonotone. We carried out a model of dynamic analysis at 20 kilohertz, that is the frequency, the working frequency for this kind of tools. We impose the maximum possible amplitude in this dynamic analysis. We made quite a strong assumption, I think, because the sonotone is the last of a chain of elastic elements, while we consider only the last one, and we rigidly bounded it on one of the surfaces up here. So perhaps this assumption is quite conservative, because it is possible that that the maximum principal stress that we found it is higher than the real one for all the real elastic chain. We used quadratic elements, and we found the maximum stress exactly where we found the cracks. So here at the stress of penetration in this position and in this position. The values of the maximum principal stress was about 155 megapascals. So I decided to make a comparison between these 155 megapascals with the fatigue endurance limit, not the fatigue limit, because we know that there is no fatigue limit for aluminum alloys, but the endurance limit of the ergal alloy. We are not sure that the material here was really ergal alloy, but we don't know what is really. So actually, so we use this one. In the literature, I found that for 1088 cycles, it is about 160 megapascal, the endurance limit. Since we decided to apply the Murakami's method, approach, model, in order to calculate the endurance limit in presence of defects, we need also the Vickers hardness, that also this data could be found in the literature. I calculated for all the defects the square root area defined by Murakami for all the defects. So for this kind of subsurface defects, as you see here a schematic, the values of the endurance limit can be calculated by means of this expression. For example, for this defect, the square root area was about 60 micrometers, and so the endurance limit was found to be 105 MPa for this category of defects. Instead, for the other kind of defects, that is an internal inclusion, the formulation is changed in this way. But here, for the square root area, I didn't take only the ODA area that is here, but I took all the part that was particularly rich in copper. because I treated this with like an inclusion. So in this way, the square root area was about 150 micrometers, and the resulting endurance limit was 100 MPa. Generalizing this procedure for all the defects of these two different categories, I found for 5, 10, and 9 cycles, the endurance limit, the lower bound of the, let's say, the lower bound of the endurance limit at this number of cycles was about 95 MPa. So much lower than the stress values I found from the dynamic finite element analysis. First, I want to repeat that the finite element analysis was somehow perhaps too much conservative, but I think that with the good modelization of the system, the values of the maximum Boltzmann stress should be higher, still higher of this endurance limit. So to conclude, we analyzed the premature failures of some sonotros made in 70-75 alloy. Sonotros used for ultrasonic welding of plastic objects. So the failures were due to unexpected operation of cracks in consequence of stress concentration. So observation at the SEM permitted to observe a strange local chemical composition in the aluminum alloy, not expected. So perhaps some error in production of the aluminum alloy. Then FM dynamic analysis and the application of the Murakami's theory permitted to estimate, at least in the first approximation, the influence of defects on the strength of this kind of